How's it going, everybody? It is Michael back here with a video. And I want to talk in this quick, short video about why it is so important to find your life's purpose. And I want to give you three actionable questions that you can ask yourself to figure out what your life purpose is. If you have zero intention in finding out why you're put on this planet and what is the purpose of you even being here, click off. I don't really want you to watch. With all due respect, this video is not for you. For the people who do want to know even one little tiny tactic that may get you closer to finding out why you're put on this planet, stay, because I am pretty sure there's going to be some way in which I can help you out. Right? I want to cover just three very, very simple points. But before I do that, let's talk about how you find your why and why it's important. Let's kind of look at the inverse. Charlie Munger and these Warren Buffett, these guys oftentimes talk about the inverse of something. So before we talk about the why, let's talk about the opposite of finding your why. If you don't know your why, if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, you're going to drift. You're going to chase money, you're going to chase approval, you're going to chase status, and you are still going to feel empty. You're going to wake up tired, you're going to work without meaning, and you're probably going to numb yourself at night, going to dinners, going to parties, drinking yourself to sleep, just to go ahead and do it the next day. People who don't have a clear purpose often end up leading their life following someone else's. That's how you waste your life, right? Knowing your why doesn't guarantee success by any means, but it gives you direction. It gives suffering and sacrifice context. It gives wins a real reason to exist, right? Without it, you can't lead yourself, let alone anybody else. You know, the three questions that I think that all of you can sit down and ask yourself to really understand what your why is are really not complicated questions at all. Right? I wrote these out, and these are the kinds of questions where you take a piece of pen and paper, you buy a Moleskine or you buy some kind of real journal, and you list out these three questions and you answer them. And each one of these three will have a subsequent question. Right? Number one is going to be, when in my life did I feel most alive or fulfilled? You can ask yourself as well, what was I doing during those moments? What about it gave me energy or made time completely disappear? Right? Figure out what really makes you feel like a kid. What makes you feel 10 out of 10, like you're on cloud nine? Right. The second question is also very straightforward. What problems in the world, right, or possibly in others, right, other people, bother me more than they should? This is something where I think a lot of us walk around every single day and we kind of look at the things in life which really frustrate us. I know for me, and I don't know if this is directly what my life purpose is, but one little like random thing is I hate trash. I hate littering. I hate it a lot, a lot, a lot. When I see people litter, I just want to go ahead and yell at that person. Right? It's something that I never ever did, and something I never see myself doing. I definitely don't think that I'm gonna go ahead and like start picking up trash and that's my life purpose. However, knowing that cleanliness and order is kind of what that really means to me, and that's something that's important in my life. I mean, it reflects on my life actually. The way my desk is right now, it's a little bit messy, but overall my room and my setup and how I live my life, I like to think I'm pretty clean and more or less well dressed, well groomed. That matters, right? Ask yourself, if I could fix one thing even without like getting paid, what would it be? Right? Why does that specific issue feel personal to me? Right? Those are some questions you can ask yourself about, like, what problems do you really want to fix? Which ones matter? And I think for me, it goes way deeper than picking up trash. I think what I'm doing right now is a very, very kind of big example of it. I love speaking to others. I love actually helping influence them in a positive way. And I love inspiring others because I know that the reason I'm where I'm at right now in my life is because I was inspired. Right? The third question I want you to ask yourself is, what pain or struggle in my life has shaped me the most? What lesson came from it that others, that myself or that others could benefit from? You can even ask yourself, if someone else is going through that same pain, you know, what would I want to tell them or help them with? What kind of advice can I give them? Right? these kinds of questions allow you to start to understand where your values lie, and that's really what matters. Your values don't come out of nowhere. Your parents bring you up with them. But there are certain values that shine way more than others. And for me, one of them is personal connections and helping other people. And, I'm not saying I'm like doing volunteering all day, guilty as charged, I'm not. But specifically, like being able to, spread my message and speak in a medium like this, that is what I love more than anything, right? Being able to do sales calls where there's a bit of that too, right? You can talk to people and really change their mind and understand why it is that they've maybe been holding themselves back or why they just haven't been able to get to their goals. And oftentimes, the way in which you can ask a series of questions or provide a shift of perspective is all a person sometimes needs to hear to completely change their lives, to make a decision to buy from you, but by extension, right, take action they would have never other taken, not they would have never otherwise taken before. These are the kinds of things that matter to me, and for sure for you it's going to be something different. That is why it is so important for you to figure out your why. If you want to be like a sailboat going with the current and with the wind, going here and then there and there and there and nowhere, go for it. By all means, I can't change your mind. But if you do want to go towards one certain direction, it doesn't only just start with goals, which I find even for myself oftentimes are just purely practical, but understanding your why and what matters the most to you and what you enjoy more than anything in your life, that's what matters. And I know my dad's probably watching this. Hi, Dad. But there's this one thing that my dad said to me, and I didn't understand it for a long time. And I actually brought it up with Francesco when he was in Toronto. We talked about it, but I remember I asked my dad, I said, "Hey, Dad, what one piece of advice could you give me?" And I asked him this right before I graduated high school because I knew the next couple of years were going to be pivotal and massive for me. And I was really expecting like some kind of like hardcore army, like brutal advice, like do this and then, I don't know why, but I just was expecting that. I wanted some kind of like almost slap in the face. But my dad thought about it. He didn't answer me right away. He thought about it, and my dad told me, and I'm going to misquote him, but the premise of what he said is, if there's anything that you're going to do in your life, make sure that you love it. Do what you love, son. That is what he told me. And I didn't get it. I thought you got to go and do things that earn you money forever. I thought you got to go do things that, pay the bills, that are super practical, that are hard work and difficult. And as the days and the weeks and the months and the years pass, I've realized none of that matters if you're not doing what you love. The only thing that not a single one of us, not one of you, not one of me, not one of anybody, can ever hold on to is our time. And the way we spend this extremely valuable resource is what matters more than anything. I do believe in disciplining yourself. I do believe in going to the gym, developing a skill, working hard, sacrificing, doing things that other people aren't willing to do, and oftentimes suffering because of it. But I don't believe in doing that just to appease and to pray and to please somebody else. I don't believe in doing that just because somebody else had a vision for your life and that's the only reason you're doing this. That is the saddest existence because you will always know deep down in your heart it's not what you are meant for. So really do yourself the biggest favor you could ever do yourself. More than learning how to do mental math, more than learning how to speak another language, more than going to the gym. Figure out why you're put on this planet, how you're going to help yourself, how you're going to help the people around you, and start figuring out how to take action today. That is what will change your life more than any self-help book ever will. And I tell you this as somebody who has read tens of them. The biggest lesson I have learned is truly to commit yourself to something that matters more to you than making money or status or fame or that. It is about truly making a difference and knowing you're helping people. That's it, guys. I thank you so much for watching. In terms of learning sales, I do it every single day. It's how I make my money. I'm in my room right now. I could be anywhere doing it. Down below, the first link is going to be to Closer Corner. It's my Discord. I teach guys sales for free. You learn the system for sales, so like a full-on script. You're going to network. You're going to get job opportunities, and you're going to learn the mindset required to make good money with sales. The second link you're going to see, maybe it's the start, probably second link, is to book a call with me personally and figure out whether or not you want to get one-on-one coaching. If you want personal help with sales, I offer that here and there. I only work with a couple of guys at a time. I'm not taking 100, just for your information. And the third link, the fourth link, etc., those are all going to be to my socials. Okay? Feel free to go ahead and follow me there, reach out to me. I try my very best to reply to DMs. Otherwise, guys, the like, the subscribe button, all these help me out so much. And if you have any questions for me whatsoever, comment them down below. I reply to all my comments the second I see them. And that's it. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Ciao.